Welcome back, YouTube. So today I'm here with my friend and former neighbor Mike. We are going to be going over a few philosophy questions, and this is for my personal challenge of putting out one philosophy video per week for the month of January. And I anticipate doing this in the morning so that I can hopefully inspire you to be a little bit more thoughtful throughout your day. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from here on out. Mondays for Manliness Monday, Wednesdays for a philosophy question, and Fridays for a project video. Know thyself is an ancient concept going back much further than Socrates. With that in mind, what are the most important things to learn about oneself, or is all self-knowledge equal?
Yeah, my mind immediately just goes to the ridiculous when with the last part of it. Is all self-knowledge equal? Well, you know, how long can I grow my toenail before it breaks up on its own? Or how long should I be up before I need rest to perform optimally? I think those are not equal.
Oh, no,
So, as far as the last part of that question, not all self-knowledge is equal.
Simple answer, no.
No. We can just get rid of that part right off the bat. What was the other part? I don't remember.
Well, what is important to know about yourself?
Your initial limitations?
Initial limitations.
Yeah.
As to...
I just wanted to make sure I put that extra word in there, just because your limitations, oh shit, well, I can only jog a mile in 8 minutes, well, I should stop there and not try again. No, obviously. Well, knowing your limit is 8 minutes, well, now you can gauge whether or not you're happy with that, whether you wish to push further, all of that.
Okay, well, here's one question within that they didn't ask. What are the most important things to know about yourself? Like for me, there's life and death things that you need to know. How long can you go without sleep? How long can you go without food? You know, how far can you push yourself athletically before you start to induce trauma to your body?
Yeah.
I mean, those are all life critical things. If you want to look at this in an existential light, which I think this is kind of pushing towards, what do you really believe as far as religion? Because there's no two religion. It was one of the popes that said it, I believe. But for every person on this planet, there is a different religion. You never believe
the permutations are endless.
Yeah, well, your version of God is not exactly my version.
Right.
Nor is it, his, hers, or theirs down there.
Yeah.
That's how you come up with different sects and different, ideologies and different religions altogether. However, I think knowing that about yourself, knowing what you actually believe, not what you're taught to believe, because they are completely different, but knowing what you believe yourself is something that you need to know. And that is something about know thyself. And where do you stand on certain topics? Because you can say, I was taught this, I was taught that. Cool. I don't care what you were taught. I care what you think. And think and you are the two most critical portions of that sentence. I don't care what you were taught. I care what you think.
I never let school get in the way of my education, that sort of thing. Yeah.
All right, Mark Twain.
Yeah, Mark Twain. Actually, I thought that was Einstein, but
was it?
Well, it's just a fuzzy picture in my head. Could be either. The white hair, mustache.
Well,
actually,
right.
Look remarkably the same. So, perhaps, or at least from a foggy description.
I think you've had too much whiskey before looking up quotes.
Right. Well, I got the quote right, just not the author.
Yeah.
Oh, what's important? What?
So what are some important things that you need to know about yourself to conduct yourself as a fully realized human being or adult?
As quickly as you can, find out what untenable situations exist for you. Meaning things sorry for the $10 word, but anything that you definitely cannot sustain for any amount of time. You know what I mean? Like if you are on the weak side and have a hypersensitivity, you all right? If you have a hypersensitivity to sound, maybe you shouldn't work in a factory. So knowing that about yourself, you could have saved yourself a lot of effort. Everything from the application to trying to suffer through it, to deciding to quit, to finding another job. That could all be avoided by understanding your own personal limitations, things that you cannot stand. And the things that you can't stand, don't try. Like, if you can get around it, get around it. Don't. I perform best when I take my process under consideration. And that includes whatever assistance I need, whatever things I need around me, and that doesn't include loud noises. So, like, a factory would not be good for me for that reason. It would affect everything else in my life, so factory's no good for me. So knowing your own limitations in that way, what situations you cannot tolerate, and don't try.
Well, personally, I think there's a few things that, I mean, yeah, knowing what you can and cannot tolerate, but in that same vein, I'd say your sexuality. Because it's almost a trope at this point. The guy who hates gay people ends up being gay later on in life.
Right.
You know, you pick on people, you emasculate people, you destroy people, only to find out later in life that you actually are that person. Now, I mean, I know it's a lot of time it's a lot of self-hate,
right?
But at the same time, like, know who you are and don't hate yourself for it. Like, almost accept who you are, and you have to learn that. But, you know, sexuality, religion, and here's one that a lot of people don't think about that really isn't as polarizing: where you live. Your environment has a lot to do with who you are.
Right. If you're growing up in someplace urban as opposed to someplace rural, you will have different sensibilities, that's for sure.
And I think that plays into a lot of who you are is where you're living. So that's something you really need to know about yourself. Is that somewhere that you want to be? Does that complement who you are, or is that a daily fight against your very being?
I think you don't have to, not that knowing yourself in that particular instance wouldn't be helpful, but I think you could eliminate, you could accomplish all that same stuff far more easy by considering the following. It's a little story about a shepherd and a shepherd and a farmer. And it helps when you're thinking about dealing with someone else. When a shepherd walks through a farmer's property and takes an apple as he's walking and eats it, the farmer doesn't often care. There's more than I can pick in a year. It doesn't affect me. If you try to steal a sheep from a shepherd, you can accidentally take the whole flock. So imagine how different the reactions you would get from each one of those parties if you stole. If you're considering that position, that every time you interact with another person, there is a great chance that what's important to you is different from what's important to them, and you should tread lightly. I think if you obey that adage, it's kind of hard to get in a sticky situation with other people without knowing yourself. So there you go. You don't have to read self-help books. Just don't hurt other people.
It's kind of that's the basis of like every major religion. Just don't be an ass.
Yes. Just don't be an ass.
So guys, thanks for watching me and Mike here. Split hairs for the last 6 questions. He is a budding YouTuber. He's starting his channel sometime in January. He's not sure as to what the channel name will be, but by the time this does air, I will have a link to his channel in the description below. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you back for this whole month of January that I'm trying this out as a personal challenge, as well as on Mondays and Fridays, where I do my Manliness Mondays and my project video on Fridays. So please be thoughtful and try and keep this question in mind and answer it in the back of your head for yourself throughout the day. I think it will make you a more self-actualized person. And as always, guys, be mindful. See you next time.